There's a lot of talk in reference to the Great Reset, the world changing order. What does this all mean? How does it affect my investing? Hey, this is CeoTrades, where money works for you. Today we're going to be looking at NFTs. But before we look at some NFTs, I wanted to give you some information as we did talk about yesterday that the world is changing and there is a new world order possibly coming into power. What does this mean? Well, first of all, let's look at history, because this is what one of my distant coaches teaches me, which is Ray Dalio, from his book, The Changing World Order, right? The Netherlands used to be a powerhouse and it was replaced by the UK. The UK was replaced by the US. The US is pending replacement by China. Whoa, 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 whoa. What did I just say? That's right. Every 50 to 100 to 150 years, a new world power is possibly arising. And this is what's going on right now. There's a huge conflict in the world with Russia, and this conflict has impacted the US, and it's impacting China, and it's impacting probably everyone who's listening to this audio. What do I mean by this? Well, a lot of the prices are going up. You can see everything is high. Inflation has kicked in. But what happens once this inflation gets to a certain point? Well, the governments in general, like the US, keep printing money to resolve things, and then they create a situation where the money can't handle this anymore. And what do they have to do? Now we get into a position that's called stagflation, and we're currently getting into that. What does this all mean? Well, number one, there's a short-term and a long-term debt. The short-term debt can last anywhere from 5 to 10 years. The long-term debt can last 50 to 70 years. You notice that in 2008, there was a market crash, and it's 2022 right now. That's 14 years later, and you haven't seen a market crash similar to what happened in 2008. However, you haven't seen a bigger market crash like the crash that happened in the 1930s. We're in the 2020s right now. And in this time is expected for the markets to crash. There is a race to attempt to increase the rates, to attempt to try and resolve the short-term interest and so on. The Feds usually were lowering it to a point that you can't lower anymore. That's right. Once you get to zero, you can't lower it anymore unless you give money back to the people. Now, lowering the long-term interest by buying long-term bonds so that the yield will fall is called quantitative easing. If you want to look into more what that means, quantitative easing, that just basically assists the major corporations of the world, the major governments of the world in reference to quantitative easing. But there is a call for a great reset in reference to debt, and be aware that governments take debt, especially as they go into power, because they need money to resolve, and this is part of that call right now, the Great Reset. Printing money is easy by the Treasury, but it requires certain laws to be passed and certain circumstances to be met. Bonds can be paused in a certain way that will favor the company, not the person who has received them. And that is why I believe that Ray Dalio is giving us a hint that we're almost seeing the new world-changing order. Is it exact? Is it not? Maybe it's wrong. Maybe this will not happen. But the reality is, as you're investing, be aware that if all of a sudden everything drops down in price, it's part of the cycle. It's part of the cycle. However, this does not happen in the same way in crypto. And that's why we're going over some crypto here, because if the markets crash, crypto's going to crash to a certain extent, but I believe it's going to come right back up quicker than others. Why do I believe that? Because there are no hefty rules. There are no triggers in place that will automatically stop everything. Crypto is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Stocks are not all of them. There are some. but this can affect you. So today we're looking at 7 NFTs here and one coin that is very important for one of the members that called me and asked me if I could just go over and see where it's at. So this is PYR Vulcan Forged. And if you look at the chart like that, it's like, wow, this is amazing. But you've got to see the whole picture. This is where it used to be back in November, almost at 50. It's at 17 right now. It's a great buy. It would have been great to buy it at 8, but I would say this is a very good buy. Why? You would need to do some research in reference to news and see if it's worth your interest to purchase. But I would say this might fall again at least to probably 12 or 13 and wait before you buy this one. But this is a good buy and hold until it gets somewhere to the 30s. Don't wait until it gets to the 50s. What happens if it doesn't get there? Always take gains. Always take gains. That's what I tell my people. Now here is NFT. NFT, which is another NFT coin. This one, let me just, whoops, give me a second here. This one you can see the real picture right now. It's at 0.5018. It used to be at the high of 0.507. Will it get there? Will it not? These are highly volatile, but you can see there's been a lot of volume transacted in the last 2 months or so. And that volume just goes to show that people are trading this one on a regular basis. NFT, the sandbox. The sandbox, we've also seen it because it's also related to the metaverse, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen this in the metaverse as well. This one had a high in November of about 850. It's at 330 right now, 338. It's a good time to invest some in this one. It might fall a little bit more to the 3-ish level, maybe even a little bit below that. I don't think it will go too much below that, but it does have support around the 265 area. It might go somewhere in the 290-ish, $3 area. I would say this one is also a good one to hold, but you can see it's been on a complete downtrend. Will it keep going down, down, down? I would wait a little bit more before I get into that and see what happens this week by Friday, or if not, the next week. And because that is how you keep track of some of these coins and seeing where they're going. This one is Theta, the Theta network. If you want to know more about these coins, you've got to go down. Just look at this software, CoinMarketCap, and then go down and see what it's all about down here. Not right now, we're just looking at the charts. This one also had a similar move. It's like a crow. It's going straight down, way down to the bottom. It's now at 380-ish, so it's very similar to the sandbox, where this one was at 14, and it's at 380 right now. I would say it's probably going to go down a little bit more, and then it might head up a bit. But this one is a downtrend. I don't know where this one's going to land, but it seems like to have hit rock bottom at the 280 area, and that just goes to show that that support area might be able to keep it solid so that this one can run up again as it has in the past. Back in November, I believe it's when it was. Let me just check that. No, back in April of last year. Decentraland, Mana, Decentraland. This one we've also talked about in the meta, and you can see this one is also on a very similar path since it had its highs in November. And it's gone down to 260 from its highs of almost $6. Is this a buy? It seems to have some type of support at the 225 area. I would wait maybe a few days more and see if it goes to the 240-ish and purchase a little bit here if I wanted to hold these for the longer term. RMRK, I would say it's Remark, but I don't know if that's what it is. So this one, we can see here that it had its highs of 70 back in December, and it just dropped, and it seems to have found support around the $11 range. It's at 20 right now. Wow, that's great for those of you who are in this. Congrats. Now let's see if it will break this $21 mark right here or so, that resistance right there. If it breaks above that, that might be a good buy. It depends on how much volume it creates. Gala is another NFT here, and you can see that Gala had its highs back in November of 82 cents. It's at 25 cents right now. It found some support around 21 cents, and it seems to be holding. It's up, a good 20% from when it was at 21. I would say that this is a good time to invest in this one if you want some riskier stocks with some riskier coins that might leave you better returns. And this is our last one, Suku. Suku back in January was doing awesome. It was at $1.30, and what happened? I alerted people that I work with, don't invest in this one right now. don't invest in it. It's highly risky. Now, there are people who are stuck here in the dollar range, dollar and above. You've got to keep holding, hold for your dear life, because eventually it will go back up. I'd say in the next 2 to 3 months, maybe even by the end of April, this one will start to go up. If you want to invest in Suku right now, this is a good time to pick up some Suku so that you can hold on until it reaches at least $1 or even 66 cents, because that would be almost 200%, at 250%. That would be a good investment there. So this is it. The most important thing on investing right now is either cutting losses or taking gains. Most people are not taking gains. Why wouldn't you cash in when you know you've made 100% of your money, 200%, 1,000%? Yesterday, as I was doing my taxes, boy, do I have information to share with you tomorrow. Stay tuned tomorrow. We'll go over what we spoke about as I was doing my taxes. If you want to invest in your bank account, why don't you invest in your knowledge account so that your money market account will grow multiplied?